Up ahead for this week's Food News Today, it's Food Checkout Week. What does that really mean? A breakthrough for taste buds? How can McDonald's help you understand foreign exchange rates? And new recipes with snow. And oh, by the way, I reviewed the ultimate kitchen companion. Is it all that it claims to be? Well, let's find out. The researchers at the Monell Chemical Science Center have had a breakthrough with something I hold very close to my own heart: taste. In a study published in the journal Stem Cell, scientists have discovered the location of the stem, or progenitor cell, that spawns the different taste receptor cells. What does this discovery mean? Well, identifying this parental cell, which has up until now baffled scientists, will help lead to a better understanding of the complexities of human taste. Now, this breakthrough looks into whether one or several progenitors were involved and where on the tongue they're located. For researchers, pinpointing the identity and the location of these stem cells on the tongue is just the beginning of understanding the human taste and could also help treat clinical taste dysfunctions. As Dr. Robert Margolski, one of the study's authors, explains, cancer patients who have taste loss following radiation to the head and neck and elderly individuals with diminished taste function are just two populations who could benefit from the ability to activate adult taste stem cells. Future research will include how to grow these taste cells, providing a renewable source for research and perhaps even clinical use. Are you looking for a fun, easy, and relatable way to understand what goes on with foreign currency? Well, try the Economist's Big Mac Index. Burgernomics is a lighthearted theory of purchasing power parity, where the prices and the exchange rates adjust over the long run so that identical baskets of tradable goods cost the same across countries. Here's an example. At market exchange rates, the Canadian burger, that Big Mac up there, costs $5.39 compared with just $4.37 here. So then the Economist calculates the Canadian dollar to be roughly 24% overvalued as compared to the US. Now, according to this Big Mac Index, currencies in the emerging world, such as Russia, China, and India, well, they're too cheap relative to the dollar. Japan is more than 19% undervalued, but those Europeans, they're laughing all the way to McDonald's, with the euro now at 12% too expensive relative to the dollar. Who knew that the Big Mac was so tasty and could be educational? As you know, I normally don't do reviews for FNT, but I was asked to take a look at the Sony Xperia Tablet S. It claims to be the ultimate kitchen companion. Now, to be honest, I'm an iPad guy, I'm a Mac guy, and not very familiar with Android tablets, so I did have to fumble my way through some of the operations, which may or may not have been the tablet's fault. What did catch my attention first was that this device claims to be kitchen compatible, so I don't have to worry about touching the screen with wet hands or letting sauce splash across it. But read the instruction manual. While the screen does have a splash-proof feature, it's glass, it is basically the covers over the SD and the charging ports that they're talking about. I found both port covers a little difficult to remove. The bottom one has a small piece of the frame that's slightly bent and interfered with removal, while the SD port has only a small fingernail-sized opening. It's not easy to get into at all. Now, the good news is that the battery does appear to last a very long time, like days, which is good. For a real-world test on a cold weekend, I went to the recipe section on supermarketguru.com, of course, angled the tablet so I could see what I was reading, washed my hands, and then went back to the tablet. And then I found the problem. If there are small drops on the screen, the tablet zooms in and out when I was moving up and down on the screen, almost like the pinch function was constantly enabled. So I dried my hands, wiped off the drops on the tablet, and started cooking Chef Jamie's delicious winter soup recipe. It worked well enough, but I did have to change the default screen sleep function of a minute to the maximum 30 minutes so that the tablet would stop closing on me. Not good. The recipe, however, delicious. Honestly, this is a little more than a tablet with port covers. No electronic device should really be around water, and this one gives you a tiny leeway, but not much. It's a fine tablet and does what tablets do. But as far as the ultimate kitchen companion, I don't think so. So let me hear your thoughts or other questions on Facebook or Twitter. Do you have this tablet, or do you use any other devices in the kitchen to assist you? Let me know. Now, for all you battling the harsh winter weather or fighting a cold the way I am, here's a great way to make lemonade out of lemons, so to speak. It's called snow cooking. I'm serious. At Knowledge Commons in Washington, D.C., you can take a Cooking with Snow class. I have no idea how many credits you get, maybe 1, maybe 5. Instructor Willie Schubert shares his dishes where snow is prominent, such as a snow cone, of course, or bawabing, basically a huge amount of snow covered in anything from syrup, red bean tapioca, or fruit. But there's also the recipes where the snow is invisible, such as Korean cold soba soup, and get this, even snow pancakes. Looks like there's a use for that snow piled up outside your door, but maybe not so much for the course. And for our final story, this week is Food Checkout Week. From February 17th to the 23rd, this national event, promoted through the Women of the American Farm Bureau, is a chance for members of local farm bureaus to reach out to consumers in their communities. Farmers and ranchers will offer tips on how consumers can stretch grocery dollars and answer questions through social media and in person about the foods that they grow or livestock and poultry that they raise. So check it out and meet a farmer today. That's all for this week's edition of Food News Today. Don't forget, check out our website, supermarketguru.com. Send me a message on Facebook or Twitter. I'd love to hear from you. Food News Today is sponsored by ConAgra Foods, who shares with me the desire to provide the most current, interesting, and unbiased food news. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you right back here next week.